talking about is Muska and Boston, all different teaching techniques.
Yeah.
You know, guided discovery and command style, and even the thing he said about the cards. One of his things is task cards that you put up, and the students just look at those and go ahead with their stuff.
Would you explain that further? Task cards?
Well, you put cards in different parts of the gym or the rink.
Yeah.
And basically like stations, and they go and do the activity.
Yeah.
But I know another thing was like when I taught phys ed, every fourth day the kids planned their own class, and they'd just take out equipment and they had to write down on the board what they were doing, and I just walked around and made sure I kind of gave them an outline. They had to do some fitness and skill and game and this kind of stuff, and they would go and do it, and I'd walk around and just to be there and to ask and to answer questions if they had them.
Yeah. So Tom, in reality, you've been doing this for 50 years or 40 years.
Yeah.
And people are questioning it. Can you relate the story of the principal you had that didn't really appreciate that approach?
Yeah, well, that was exactly what I was doing. And it takes a few years to get to that stage. You don't walk in a school and say that, eh?
Yeah.
And he happened to, that was when he came and watched, and he just says, "You're the worst teacher I've ever seen. You don't do anything." He didn't like me because he came into the school. We just had a little school at St. Greg's. We only had like 130 kids or something, and we didn't have discipline problems. And he thought he'd help teachers by having a detention room, which in big schools is great, eh?
Yeah.
But we didn't really need it because we didn't have these problems.
Yeah.
And I said, well, John, we don't really have, because I taught at other places, we don't really have those problems. We don't really need a DT room, and he never forgave me for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I said to him, in your math class, what if you said to your students, you work on what you really need to, you get in groups, you get your equipment out, and everybody was sitting at desks helping each other and talking and had all the stuff, and then they put everything away after. And I said, you figure that was the greatest class you ever had? I said, well, that's what you just saw now. But he didn't really go for that explanation.
After all your years' experience, that story, how would you relate it to coaches today?
Well, remember that bantam team we did?
Yes.
And we outplayed every team. But we had one goalie letting in 1 out of every 5 shots, 1 out of every 7. No matter how good we did, we had to outshoot the other team by 20 shots. And the one parent there really believed in bag skating. And he just was in the background criticizing everything we did all year. And he might have a point because his son played for Seattle the other day and probably is going to be in the NHL. But that was a little kid that could skate like crazy.
Yeah.
We're the only ones that would take him because he was tiny. He wasn't even maybe 5 feet. But we saw how good he skated. And the same thing with the goalie, the one goalie that was athletic, but he'd only started playing goal. So he was lost in the crease. And Jim said, no, he's a good athlete. We got to take him. But he ended up playing 3 years for the Hitmen. And Riker was All-Star American League last year. He got drafted as a 20-year-old. It took him that long to grow away.
Yep.
And he was All-Star in the American League last year. And he was the best player in the ice the other day, Seattle playing Calgary.
Yeah. Is he the same player, Tom, who his dad taught him to skate and he didn't like me teaching him to stride?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, his nose was out of joint like the coaches last year.
Yeah.
That he'd always coached his kid, and now these outsiders are coaching. And nothing we did was right. But the kid, I mean, right in that Bantam, I remember talking to this guy that was a scout for Seattle.
Yeah.
And I said, you got to get this kid on your list. I said, he's just an incredibly great skater. And I said, his parents are pretty good size, so he's not going to be tiny his whole life.
When did he grow? When was his growth spurt?
I don't know. He played major junior for 3 years for Regina.
Did he play AAA?
As far as I know.
Have you ever run into him or his dad?
No, his dad was a skills coach for the Royals the next year.
Yeah.
And he'd have one group after the other skating the circles. He never moved anything. And it was like a plowed field. He destroyed the rink. And, and 15 minutes of practice, the stuff he did was probably good. It just, like I know, like Gardner McDougall has bag skates every practice.
And he's won national championships.
Yeah. But he's also practicing every day.
Yeah. Do you think his bag skates are tactically correct?
Well, I've never seen his bag skates, but I would imagine they are.
Yeah.
But I know in Bemidji when we had a bag skate for 30 minutes Monday, Tuesday. And I remember I couldn't hardly stand up after.
Yeah.
But one thing they did, well, fitness-wise, but the one thing they did is a mentality of you're out there to work hard. I think that more than anything physically.
Well, the team you coached last year worked harder than anybody because of the coach they had. And they're going to be successful in life because they've learned the value of hard work and respect. And when Greg was on, I don't know if you heard when you were driving. But
I listened to the whole thing.
Okay.
Jim drove to get his girlfriend into the airport.
Yeah. He was anti-bag skate.
Yeah, I heard it. And,
what do you think of that? Have you bag skated?
Well, it's like Tim Bothwell always says, it's not one thing or the other. It's not yes or no. It's how much bag skating do you do?
Yeah.
So I know Pierre in Red Bull, we had every once in a while they did skating, but a lot of turns and tight turns and all that involved in it. Very little just skating a straight line kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think I know what I thought helped me the most in my forechecking, because I was a real forechecker kind of a player, was that wave drill, where the coach waves back, forth, left or right.
Yes.
So you have to really change direction quickly.
Yeah.
I thought that helped me in my gameplay. Because, with forechecking, you got to change direction really quickly and fast.
Yeah.
Well, I thought we had 2 great practices this week.
Yeah.
They were only 1 hour, so we had to be quick. But that thing Jim made up was so good, that little contest. I don't know if you read about it.
Can you describe it for the listeners?
He divided the ice into 4 sections. So basically at the top of the circle there, where in Canada there's always a ring out line there.
Yeah.
down the middle. So it was left, right, lower, high. So if he said left, everybody, all 5 had to be left. And if it was low, 3 had to be low, too high. But they had to move the puck as quickly as possible. And it wasn't 1 touch, it was 2 touch.
Yeah.
Because the puck goes all over the place when I try to 1 touch it, right?
Yeah.
They had to take the pass and make a pass, but as quickly as possible, and move around. And they were doing scissors and and then he'd yell another place and they'd move it to there. And meanwhile, I took the ones in the middle and really worked on wrist passing, starting the heel and rolling it. So they always hit it from the middle or the front of the stick, and then the puck jumps all over the place. So making flat passes. And then I did stuff, saucer passes, where they had to drop it on the red line.
Yeah.
And then doing a moving. But the 2 things, but his little deal there, I thought it worked good. And then we did the Bob Johnson power play right after that with the one forechecker going in.
Yeah.
So they had to move the puck quickly. I thought the complemented each other really well.
You see the improvement in their eyes up, thinking, execution?
Yeah, well, we scored 6 goals on Sunday. Well, 1 was an empty netter, but against a really good team. And we move in the pocket. And another thing that really worked well, I watched the Wranglers practice last year, and just 3 forwards dump the puck in, 2 go behind the net. They go east to west to each other. And F3 is in the highs, like maybe behind the hash marks.
Yeah.
And they passed to F3. We scored a goal absolutely exactly like that. And then on a power play, it was almost like that. Went side to side, passed out and scored, and we got other scoring chances from it. So, but that's all 2 touch, eh? Take the puck and move it.
When you did it, was it 3-on-0 practice?
Yeah, Jim had the defense at the other end getting to move so they missed the first checker, to get the shot through. Because he thought our D was standing still too much. And we scored a goal on exactly that. Yeah. That's the point. The D moved to her left and let a wrist shot go, and the goalie didn't see it. So, yeah, there was things out. It was kind of neat because the stuff we'd practiced translated right to the game.
It sounds like Jim is taking to the coaching and got his wheels turning.
He's a really good coach. He sees the game really well, and and if he says, we talk a lot about it, and he says things, and I try to put in drills that things that'll complement it. We use a lot of transition games too, which I don't think very many coaches use. Yeah. And I think the most important thing there are. Yeah. We even do a transition game in our pregame warm-up. We do a game of quick transition 3-on-3 in the pregame.
Can you describe that?
Well, it's 3 offense against 3 defense. Yeah. Right. And the defenders' teammates are at the blue line. They're first in line. So when you get the puck on defense, you pass to them, and they're on offense right away. So the guys that played, the players that were just on offense have to quickly transition to playing defense.
Is that Pern's drill?
It's like Pern's drill. The rotation's the same.
Yeah.
But they're not backed up by the red line, and they're not allowed to get the puck and take it over the blue line. You don't forecheck and over the blue line in Perry Pern's drill.
Okay.
This is just as soon as you get the puck, you're on offense, and they can be right on you, and you got to make a play. I think
when the defensive team passes to the other 3, they're standing along the boards?
No, they're standing at the blue line.
Right on the blue line, eh?
Yeah, it's all on one net.
Okay.
And then right away they're on offense. But they can be checked right away too. So if just stand still, a good chance I won't even get out of there, and the other guys will get it.
Yeah, Jordan did the same thing, but he ran Pern's drill. They were standing on the blue line with Pern's drill. They didn't really. There was very little space and time, but it was the same thing.
Yeah.
It was live and competitive. Yeah.
I'll even do it. They're at the ringette line at the top of the circles.
Yeah.
And it's really, you know.
Now, who's at the ringette line? The next three?
Yeah. So it's a Perry Pern rotation, but it just, you're on offense right away and you're on defense right away. It's more like a game. You lose a puck, you're on defense, eh?
Yeah. I really think that's the way to go with pregame warm up. There's thinking involved. You know, when everybody comes on the ice at U13, I think everybody should have a puck and be handling it and turning and stopping and transition skating with the puck, feeling it.
Yeah.
And then get in, you know, getting the goalie warmed up. And the next phase would be a 3-on-3 game because you're going to play a game.
Yeah. Well, I think get some shots in between there. Like it depends how long your warm up is, eh? If you got a 3 warm up, what you just said is probably the best thing. But like we've had 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And there's time to do, the D shoots, the D and center shoot at the net while the wingers pass and then they switch.
Yeah.
And but we 3 minutes or so of that 3-on-3 game is, but I know last year I think we got 3-minute warm up. You couldn't handle a puck and give the goalie a few shots, about all you had time for.
Yeah. Well, you've got the tournament this weekend, eh? The fire starter.
Yeah, we play 2 on Friday.
Yep.
We play Red Deer again, and then we play Regina. So Red Deer is pretty good, and I would guess Regina is really good.
Okay, I've got to get a copy of that sent to me so I don't have to look it up on my website individually.
Aren't you on our WhatsApp? Is it WhatsApp that we use, or Team Snap?
Yeah, I can't access it.
Oh.
I have to go to the website all the time. I've only got one team on Team Snap, but I have the Google Calendar for everybody.
Yeah.
On my calendar, which is through Team Snap. Yeah. But it's the handiest thing of all is to have all the games that are going on and highlighting which of our teams are there for me to figure out when I'm going to be there, if I can flip-flop between arenas and watch both teams play. So, but I've earmarked tomorrow because you have 2 games tomorrow, right?
Yeah, 2 games tomorrow, 1 on Saturday, and then I imagine if we win at least one of the games, we'll be at least in the bronze thing.
Yeah.
And then we play in a tournament in Kelowna the next weekend.
Yeah.
So we're getting 8 or 9 games in.
And Monday we've got that mission statement exercise. So I'm looking forward to getting that done. And after that, all I'm going to do is go to games and sit with parents.
Yeah. Well, the mission statement, that's for coaches, right? Monday?
It's for coaches this time, but then I do it with parents after your games.
So I got asked that question. Someone said, is this just for the coaches? I said, I'm pretty sure it's just for the coaches, and then Wally will take the parents later.
Yeah. What you'll have to do is send the questions to the parents to do when we schedule it, before we schedule doing it with them while you're practicing.
Yeah. Well, Amanda sent them out and she's resent them.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm getting them back now. Every day I get up and I cut and paste the feedback from all the parents.
Yeah.
And then when I do the class, we'll go through the exercise. I've got the information from all the age groups and what they've written. And it's all pretty good stuff. And
yeah.
I really think, Tom, I've done it with 3 teams now, parents.
Yeah.
And I think they really appreciate the fact that I'm doing the exercise with the coaches and we're supporting each other because we know how we're doing it and why we're doing it. And it's about development. And so one thing I noticed with all the teams, everyone is coached differently and coached really well, but in different ways.
Yeah.
Roberta and Austin, they do more deliberate skill work than anybody.
One of their practices before us.
Yeah. And you play those games and they figure things out and you do skill repetition with high speed and tempo and many puck touches. And Sean, he has high tempo, fast competitive drills.
Yeah.
In all three approaches, that's the way everybody is. And it's sort of the meshing of the different methods to try to get the result you want in the short term. So it's a good thing. I think it's going to work out pretty well for the year. I think the fact that we do this exercise, everybody's going to be appreciating one another a hell of a lot more than they have in the past, particularly parents and coaches.
Well, it's good than just being separate on your own. Even when I was with the Red Bulls, we sit in this coach's room, and two coaches from Sweden, a coach from Finland, a coach from Russia, Pierre's there, and we never met together and shared ideas. And I said that to Pierre. I said, why don't we have once a week, we sit there for an hour and have one topic, power play, how to everybody throw their ideas out, what they think a good way to practice a power play is.
Yeah.
Said that would be terrific for all of us, but he never did it.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can arrange a session with all the U15 coaches and do that. Exactly what you said.
Yeah, we could.
Just to cover power play and if they want to do a different topic another day, everybody brings their own ideas and shares them.
Yeah,
it's a good idea.
Once we all get rolling.
Yep. No, I think we've got off to a pretty good start. From my vantage point, the lesson I learned with you last year, you asked me to do the exercise, and it helped. So without reaching that point of frustration where they ask for help, we're doing the exercise proactively. And I tell your story of how difficult it was to get a good start with your team, with your parents. And that's the truth, is there's no trust to begin with. And if you can create a lines of communication where there's trust and respect for one another, you're going to have a really good season.
It changed everything because basically we were getting 9, 10, 11 people at practice. So no use doing team play. The third of the team doesn't even know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Plus they're missing practice.
Yeah.
But as soon as everybody started coming, then all of a sudden we became the best team in the league.
Yeah. Well, one of the parents maybe was on your team from last year complained that there weren't enough kids at practice. They were missing practice.
Yeah.
And that exercise makes them appreciate how important it is and holds them accountable to being there. You don't have any respect for the coach or the team or teammates when you miss practice. And that,
and
I don't care.
At that age, because the kid, if the parent doesn't drive him, the kid isn't there.
Yeah. Well, I talk a lot about carpooling and parents working together to get their kids there, and the commitment and the time it takes to play at the highest level, and they've all got to be all in on it and help each other out through the process.
Yeah, we're going through one girl she missed last night. I think she's playing volleyball or something for her school. She hasn't said that, but there was a training session at 4:30. She said, "Well, I have a school commitment," but she said she was sick all last week, and then she wanted to play on Sunday. She missed our practices, missed our meeting, when we went through the team play, and then she said, "But I can play Sunday," and we said, "Well, no, we you don't know what we're doing, and if you're that sick, we probably don't want you in the dressing room right now." And then she made one practice, and then the next thing, the dry land she wrote said, "I have a school commitment." So basically, out of the last 5 things, she'd missed 4. So I wrote her and I said, that this AA is a big commitment. It's 5 times a week between practice, games, and dry land. So, I think if she can't do it, she should probably withdraw and let one of these girls that got cut on the team.
What about the girl that's speed skating? Is that your girl?
There is, but yeah, I don't remember which one it was. But I haven't heard anything more about it, so it was just too much for her. Well, if she's training, full out training for speed skating and playing this hockey, I mean, that would be just so hard. It'd be unbelievable.
Is she still making your practices?
Well, the only one that's missed is the one I just talked about.
And that's not the same girl.
Not as far as I know.
Well,
but, I'm still in the deal that we're getting to know these people. So, on the bus, I'm going to meet with each player and get to know them and have the board there if they're not understand stuff and go over it with them if they want me to. And we got a 8-hour trip to Kelowna coming up. And Jim is on now. He'll be getting on the plane right now for Montreal, and then they go to Rome. So he's gone for 8 days.
Well, you've got a good staff to help you.
Oh yeah, they can't come every time either because they both work and they both go to school. So they make as much as they can. And then the goalie coach Kaylin was there last practice, and it was really good because she had the goalies. We did a lot of stuff at one end. Like the one I told you Jim did. She was there, and then we played that 3-on-3 game low where you have to pass the point to go on offense. So that's in one zone too. So she got half of the practice to work with the goalies.
So what did you do at the other end without the goalies?
Well, that's when Jim did the 4 zones.
Right.
He did that while I had the other players in the middle doing passing. So that she had one end for the goalies.
So one of the things I always thought, if the goalies have a goalie coach, one of the things that I would do that needs to be done is a 3 versus 3 keep away game. And that's, I think the finished progression is keep away with tight turns only.
Yeah.
And then before you pass, and then skating backwards to open up the ice before you pass. And then backhand passes only, and then you've got to pass to the third player only. I think that's a hockey sense and tactical skill progression that needs to be done, not involving the goalies. So
yeah, I can do it with a goalie too. Like I play 2 pass with those kind of rules.
How do you do it with a goalie?
Well, I play 2 pass with a goalie, and maybe before they can pass, they have to make a tight turn, or they have to skate backwards, or they, only forehand passes. I haven't done one I haven't had 3-on-3, and I think in the neutral zone keep ways, good 3-on-3 with the rule you said about passing the third player.
Yeah. I'm just saying the goalies, they don't do evasive tight turns in goaltending.
No.
They don't do deliberate backward skating, backhand passing.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. It's to keep the other players busy while the goalie's working with a goalie coach.
That's right. And it's not just keeping the players busy, it's purposeful busy.
Oh, yeah.
Leading to everything you want them to do in a game that they're not doing in a game. Buying space and time and gaining space and time and supporting the puck. That's what's wrong. That's what's missing in hockey is better timing and support and use of your skills to create time and space. So,
and that's one of the reasons we played Botchko too.
Yeah. No, Botchko teaches that. I'm just saying that game sequence is what I call a cardinal progression to teach evasive tight skating. To teach
and we're still doing we're still doing the tight turn, the long striding and then going backwards, long stride.
Yep.
Then the tight turn, I blow the whistle, they turn towards the boards.
Yep.
And I blow it really quick twice. They turn one way, then they turn the other. Yep. But I saw something and I got this jam step clear in my mind what it actually is. And basically it's a slalom fake, your two skates on the ice at once. So you slalom to the left and then quickly go to the right with an evasive turn.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna incorporate that they'll do that, just a little to make the defender lean a little bit. So you slalom one way and then quickly the other way. And that's what that jam step is.
Yeah.
I never understood exactly what it meant. I watched players do it, but I didn't know what part was the jam step.
Yeah.
It's a lot less complicated than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Played against Tom Wiseman Tuesday, and boy, he does so many things naturally, like fake when he gets a puck and stuff.
Yeah.
Like he is so good at getting you to lean one way or, all that kind of stuff. If he was a great skater, he'd have played NHL. That's the weakest part of his game for sure.
Tom, your book, you had the girls run some length skating, level 2 skating up and down the ice. You remember that at your practice? Your two assistants.
Yeah, they did. They did the skating exercises, the edge work.
Yeah. Now, what I'm looking at your book right now, and the number pages 162 to 165. That's what you should show to them. In fact, I'll give them a book. When they plan that ice time, lengths is just 162. And then starting card 29, it's skating around. But, they've got something like skate backwards, one length of the ice, hold one stick in each hand and pull your partner. And it's really the stuff they were doing. Zigzag, which is linear crossovers forwards and backwards. Those are the details they could focus on. It's literally power skating.
Yeah. A lot of those examples are power skating. There's a whole sequence.
Yeah.
To, the power skating.
Yeah, if you give them that time, it gives them doing something that's really going to pay off that you can't measure until they play games and you see their edge works improved or knee bends improved. I think that's the line between deliberate practice, what they're doing, and transferring it to the game.
Yeah.
I've earmarked page 87 to page 162.
I have a book right beside me.
Yeah. So if you look at page 87, principles,
I'm in my
playing
car right
principles.
now, but
Yeah.
funny I got the book here.
That's what I've told Roberta to read. I said, look, you don't need to read the whole book, but the stuff that you might get a lot out of, page 87 to 140.
Yeah.
Because everything else, it's sort of deliberate, progressive stuff. This is all thinking stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I want them to look at that. It says, page 115, I highlighted. In short, you put it in black print. The game plan is based on the total of individual defensive and offensive skills of the players individually and in units. So those are this is a vital section of the book that the coaches need to get so the players get it.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of those principles are written by Johanny, who's such a smart guy.
Yeah. Well, Tom, I'm going to run. I've got a mission statement exercise tonight with Mike Massey's U13 team, and they'll all be done. And I'm looking forward to the one on Monday night. They're supposedly going to have food there for everybody.
Yeah.
And do you know if there's a PowerPoint projector in the room
I
at
have
Father,
no idea.
at Father Bauer?
I think there is one, yeah, because when we had our draft,
Yeah,
that's what we used, and I don't know if the projector was in the room or if that guy brought his own, because it was on a screen. Because as we drafted, you were
yeah,
at the draft. Yeah?
yep. I think what I'll do,
Look at it
I've
on the screen.
I've got your projector,
Yeah,
so I may bring it. I've put a PowerPoint together that I might use for that. But every group I do it with, I change it up a little bit, and sometimes it works better than others. But this one here, I think it's really critical for U13 and U15 because 15 is where the wacko parents are. I think their
yeah.
kids.
Well, they've just left coaching their kids,
Yeah,
and that's why I talked the way I did in that session. That our whole point was to help the kids get better so they can move on.
yeah.
That whether we win or not, I don't know. It looks to me like this is going to be a really tough league.
Oh yeah.
Like I think there's going to be a lot of good teams that we play against. A lot of good players.
Well, I'm afraid that at the end of the season they're going to say let's go back to 2 teams because we might not win.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Airdrie, Red Deer was in second place last year, and we tied. And Airdrie is a really good team. The girls said they thought Airdrie was better than Red Deer.
Yeah.
Airdrie and Olds combined, because it was just Olds before, I guess.
Yeah.
And they're big. I saw the girls after. I stayed and I watched because Shumi's Bantam AAA team was playing after.
Yeah.
So I got a pizza and I watched. And these girls are walking by And I'll tell you, the two girls are about 5'10". They could go into a bar
Huh.
that had just played, like farm girls,
Yeah.
but very attractive girls at about 5'10". And I'm thinking, holy geez, they're 14 years old. But girls are basically fully grown by grade 9.
Yeah.
They can't fill out, but they're as tall as they'll ever get.
Yeah. How's Mike doing with his Bantam AAA team?
They've done pretty well. Him and Phil is a really good. The two of them are coaching it. You know, and before they had Cale McCarr and a whole bunch of guys that are playing the NHL. That Sanderson that just signed a whole whack of money for Ottawa.
Yeah.
And they had those guys. But yeah, no, they're doing pretty well, and they'll do well. They're both really good coaches and really good guys. But you know, I told you about McCarr, eh?
No.
He played Bantam AA, didn't play the AAA. Then he did the AAA. Then he played minor midget. He didn't, like my grandson made AAA right away.
Yeah.
He played minor midget before he went AAA, and then he went Alberta Junior. I think it was to Brooks, and then he went NCAA. Now he's the best defenseman in the world.
Did he play midget AAA or did he skip that?
I'm assuming he played 1 year of it because, you know, the first year midget you're 15, right?
Yeah.
And then the second year you're 16. And he played minor midget, so I can't see him going from minor midget to junior A because they wouldn't really have watched him, I don't think. I don't know. He could have played anyway, but I guess one story Mike told is some guy came to run him, eh? And he said, McCarr just stuck out his ass and the guy went down.
Yeah.
And the guys on the bench are laughing. And he came to the bench. He says, I see everything. Because I guess the guy thought he was just going to wipe him off the face of the earth.
Do you know how big he was in Bantam and then minor midget?
I don't. He's not even that big of a guy. Like
Would he be 200 pounds?
Boy, I'm sure he's 200 pounds. But
He looks big.
It's so exceptional.
Yeah.
Like his evasive turns and that, eh?
Yeah.
He starts going hard, then he's going the other way, and he turns the NHLers inside out.
Yeah. Yeah, he knows how to position defensively and how to jump in offensively.
Yeah. Well, he plays McDavid like a puppet.
Yeah.
Makes McDavid go where he wants to go, and then he takes a puck off him. He's the only guy in the league, I think, can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty exceptional.
Okay, Tom, I'm going to cut off here, and I think I'm only going to edit it into 2 parts. When Greg Revac was on, and then when you came on. So, makes an easy editing time for me.
Yeah. Maybe take where I mentioned John Marta's name out.
I'll go to it right now and do that.
Yeah.
Okay, buddy.
All right, I'm sitting in the Tim Hortons parking lot right now. I've been talking to you.
Okay, take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.